Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hanger 9 40% scale Carbon Cub cowl adapter that we've been building. As you can see, I got the, like I said I was going to do, I cut some light ply pieces here that we're going to glue into place here, get everything firmed up. And before I started filming here, the last work that I'd done to this was I gotta pull all these pieces out. Hold on a sec. I have them all sanded to where they need to go. So I'll just pull these out real quick, and I want to make sure I keep them in the right spot. But what I did is, the last thing we did was put this, whoop, missed one. No, I lied, I missed two. Anything else gonna fall off here? I think we got them all now. But what I did is glued the balsa sheeting around the perimeter of it, left this open of course. As I explained in the last video, that is when the air goes into the cowl, cools the engine, it's going to come down, and I don't want to restrict that outflow because that cowl's got that opening at the bottom that goes out to get the air flowing through that cowl to keep the engine nice and cool. So I don't want to restrict that in any way. That's why I didn't do anything here. And I did some putty work here, not putty, but the light balsa filler. It's called Hobby Light filler. This stuff right here doesn't weigh, even this tub doesn't weigh nothing, and that works great for filling in imperfections and whatnot. And it also, just so you know, I bought it's called a Flight Test Cub. It's a foam airplane that I bought it off eBay, I believe it was, and they did not box it. And these kits are just styrofoam sheets that are plastic wrapped, and they don't even come with instructions. You can go online and just follow the video. It's kind of neat, but the person I bought it from didn't box it, and when it came to me, of course, through the mail, it got crushed, and the whole horizontal stabilizer was just smashed. And I didn't know. I tried to use an iron, hoping that the heat and the heat gun, hoping it would just kind of lift back out, but did not work. So it's paper. Actually, I might have some here. Yeah, I did. So basically it's this thing, and I know this isn't video, but telling stories, you know. It's foam, but it's got this paper glued to each end, and it was just flat. And that was my horizontal stabilizer. What I did is I peeled the paper off and used that Hobby Light balsa filler, and I was able to rebuild it and salvage the plane. So I'm gonna do a video here of putting the electronics in it. I already painted it and everything. It's ready to go. But just so you know that you can fix foam airplanes with that stuff. It sticks well, and it works pretty good. Easily sandable. Got a little bit of chunks from when I was sanding still in it. But anyways, let's get going here. I'm too busy telling stories instead of building here. So what I'm gonna do is I want to get my wood glue as well, and we are going to get these parts glued on, because after this and some more sanding, doing the final sanding to it, I'm going to be putting monocoat, the white monocoat around here, and I might do the back too. And then for the inside here, I'm going to fuel proof this. And then we did some wood glue here on the outer part of this, but I'm going to actually epoxy all the insides of these where that cowl is going to attach, because I want it to be nice and strong. But we need to put our plywood pieces in. Boy, I tell you what, my brain is just not... It's all over the place today. I had to do some work on my car today. And didn't quite get it fixed. I have to replace some parts on it. And I got one more thing I got to replace on it. But let's get this some glue here. Because what I'm going to do is glue these pieces in with some wood glue, hold them in place, but then I'll hit it with some CA on the outer part to hold them into place. Nice fit there. Move this ahead so I don't get my sleeve in it. I'm just going to use a piece of balsa that I got for scrap here and use it as a glue application device. And let's just get to going here. More. What a good bond to there. And I still have these pieces here. They're sticking up a little past the balsa. But I am going to get this all glued in, all this epoxied in so it's nice and strong. And then I will take the sander block and level all this stuff out the way it should be. And then I'm just going to hit it also on the outside to hold it into place. A little bit of CA here. The wood glue is on that outer balsa part. There we go. Boy, struggling a little bit. And we'll let that do its thing, and that should stay in place. Let's just get all them in since we're doing this part, because them longer pieces are going to just need some CA, and then I'll epoxy the inner part of it. I always have a lot of fun because this thing, I didn't make any plans for it. This was all made out of templates. But I always enjoy seeing things that... It's always fun to see things come together. You can imagine things in your head and think, hey, that's gonna be great. But once you finally see it taking shape, that's the fun part to me. I enjoy coming up with things like when I'm 3D printing and everything, design and stuff, and I enjoyed the design phase of it. But it is so satisfying to see the final product come out. Honestly, I probably don't even need to put the CA in, but I want to make sure it holds into place. because this glue takes a little bit of time to dry. It's usually a nice strong bond. Can't wait till the weather's nicer. That flight test plane that I was telling you about, I'm looking forward to. I think I've showed it in a video, had a JWS Cub. I flew 50 flights on, pretty much, well, 49 flights. I didn't quite make it to 50. But that plane is over 20 years old, and that foam started getting pretty delicate. The tail on that one, the foam broke, and I was able to hot glue it back. And of course I crashed it into a tree last year, or no, the year before, and then ended up, after it fell out of the tree, it hit the driveway pretty hard, bent up the shaft of the little electric motor and everything. Had to put a new motor in it and completely rebuild the motor mount on it. Fun planes, but unfortunately I live in an area where it's very windy a lot of times. And it was a calm day when I started flying, but then the wind kicked up, blew it into the tree, and then it ended up falling from the tree and hitting the driveway. Bum deal. But I was able to repair it. And again, like I said though, the foam was brittle and it started breaking. So it's why I flew that a lot in the early 2000s when I bought it. Or 2002 I think was the last time I flew it, before a couple years ago. And I need to get the servos. I have two OS 40 size engines. I had to soak them. Hopefully they'll still run. They were gummed up. I didn't clean them well enough before I stored them. And but I disassembled and soaked them, and they freed up real nice. Now they turn good. They seem to have good compression, so I think it'll be fine. But I need to get that one on the, got a Hanger 9 Piper Cub 40 size that I'm gonna stick that engine in. But I bought that in the early 2000s and never did anything with it. Just sat in the box, unfortunately. I just got enough glue too. Yeah, I think that's going to be almost perfect. But I've been flying my flight simulator. I got the Real Flight 1, and do pretty good flying that 40 size Cub. They actually are representations of actual models. Just gonna stick this one on quick, and then we'll get the CA out and we'll be done with this part. Let's put it this way. My stomach's rumbling. Probably gonna be time to eat something after this. Okay. Don't know why I pinched that one. That one's long been CA'd and everything. So I'm just gonna put some CA glue on there. And of course, like I said before, I believe when I was building this, I'm not a carpenter. So you see that the cuts are not precise. Got them as close as I could though. Okay, so that should be good for that. We'll get this out of the way before I glue it to my sleeve of my shirt. Not that that's in great shape, it's got a hole in the cuff, but you know, one of your favorite pieces of clothing, it's hard to let them go until they're really tattered, then you gotta say goodbye. I like to keep stuff as long as I can. So what we need to do here is, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right. Maybe it was this way. Boy, I didn't cut that one worth nothing. Interesting. Yeah, that one's really loose. I didn't do very good. Let's start with this one. Did I do better on this side? Sure did. Something like that. And I guess there's going to be some issue here because this one has these are smaller, so the angle is not the same on these bottom ones. But it's going to be kind of close. Maybe I'll go a little further down and just match it this way. I'll probably do that with the bottom ones. The other ones fit real nice. Kind of do what I wanted to do. Like that one. But yeah, I kind of forgot about that these end ones I had to go a different angle. And this one here is a different angle from these. These are all pretty much the same angle of attack. These were the blind nuts or whatever you call them. Nuts with the little teeth on them that sink in. That's what I plan on using there. So I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to do my best here to do what I can with this. That don't look too bad right there. There we go. That's way better. Let's get some CA on here. And it's probably off camera, I apologize for that, but this is a pretty big part compared to what I'm used to working on this table. Like that. We'll just give that a little bit time to set up here. These are basically just for strength, for around a lot of this is. That cowl really doesn't weigh nothing. I'm gonna have to put it on my little scale that I got and see if I can't get a weight on it. My CA glue is kind of, I don't know, sometimes if you let them, I've had this happen a couple times with the bottle, it's setting fine, but I didn't use the CA forever. I was building the Guillo's Cessna that I got, and it was like over a year, and I come to find out that the glue must have got, the cap must not have been tight enough and it dried it out. There we go. And I'll get some here. And we'll move on to number 3. I'm going to get a toothpick so I can kind of spread that stuff too. Otherwise I'm getting big globs and it takes a little longer for it to cure that way. There we go. Now we can kind of direct it into where we want it. Like so. I'll just kind of get this one into place here. And another reason for these is to kind of direct the airflow too, so it's just not the air going, hitting this surface, it's to kind of deflect it toward the middle and whatnot, and then down for here. That's my attempt at trying to keep things aerodynamic, I guess. Let's apply some glue here on the sides. This might work a little better. That one, like I said, the contact point isn't exact to where I thought it was going to be. Again, too, this will help me to determine help guide me while I'm sanding is the reason why I did it this way, because if I didn't have these on and I started sanding and then I started hitting this balsa wood sheet around it, I was afraid that I'd sand too far down and that it'd be all crooked. So that's another reason why I did it this way, so I can have a guide while I'm sanding, so I don't sand any more than I want to sand down. All right, off to number 2. This one was a fun one to sand, but it actually ended up fitting one of the best. We'll do the same thing as we did on number 3. And I will go and I'll go underneath in there with some epoxy is what I plan on doing, and really getting that glued in where I want it, nice and strong. Whoop. I'm determined to glue my fingers, aren't I? I don't want to. Well, I don't want to, but I'm doing it anyway. There we go. This way. There. Wow, my stomach's really growing. There we go. And again, some of that light balsa filler that covers a magnitude of sins. Somebody once told me it was a welder, or they were welding. Said you don't have to be a good welder, you just gotta make sure it sticks good, and you want it to be pretty, you just have to be a good grinder. I'm like, well, as long as it penetrated and is sticking, fine. I guess that's what really matters, but if you don't have that, all right, number one. That is not number one. What did I do with number one? Oh, way up here. Boy, that one was really hiding from me. Make sure I don't get my head in the camera for you. Just end up doing that right there. Okay, now we're heading over to the other side here, and we need one. To pinch this balsa down, I know. Oh, that's not the way you want to do it. No, at least it's something up right away. I was not planning to have glue all over me. There we go. Just hold it there for a little bit. This was the worst part, bumping up. I noticed after this sheet was a little too long, I think. And number 4 is going to be I'll end up putting that light filler in here and sanding some spots, because it's not fitting exactly how I would have liked it, but I'm more worried about the strength of it in the end, because basically what I'll do is use that putty all over these here, and especially like where it's, and then I'll make it as nice as I can, but then I think I'm gonna wrap the covering and then iron it to here all around those parts. Is what the plan is anyway. Alright, we need number 2, which is this one. That is probably the best fitting one, honestly. Yeah. Go up a little bit. Right here. There we go. I'm happy with that. Much happier with that fit. Oh, and then sometimes you gotta learn to just leave things be too. When you almost have it into place, and Mr. Perfectionist rears his ugly head and then I mess it up. So I think we shall try to mess it up again. There we go. I'm not gonna lie, it was bothering me. It was bothering me. Okay. 2 more? Then we got this done? Well, not done. As far as we can go anyway. Then the fun part, I get to look through the video to see how many times I got my head in the way and if you could actually see something, what I'm doing. Because I still don't have that monitor. Someday. Sockey's on a budget. It's one of them things where you have good intentions of doing something, and then another thing needs your money more than the thing that you wanted to spend the money on, if that makes sense. But I'm really excited to get the covering on this. Because basically after this, it's It's going to be more filler, like I said. It's going to be sanding everything to shape the way it needs to be. And then basically covering it, putting it on, locating the holes, mounting it. And we'll be good. Now this one's probably not going to be... I saved this one for last because I figured it would... Yeah, this is the one that has a little bit of... Well, it has more than a little bit. It's got some issues there. It's going to have a gap that I'm going to have to fill on that side with some of the yellow glue. The epoxy in the end will firm everything up the way it needs to be. So I will concentrate on getting this side right there. I think's the angle that I want. And I'll actually probably go over all this with the yellow glue after this CA is all dried to fill that in. Make sure it has a good bond. There we go. I noticed my angle wasn't the same as the other one, so I had to make a minor adjustment here. Set it right there. And that just needs to set a little bit. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened on this one. I really messed that one up. But so there, that is the plan there. And once all this dries real good, I'm going to give it a good half hour to an hour or whatever. Probably just let it sit for an hour. And then I'll go with the wood glue on all these here, just to strengthen that all up and kind of fill in a little bit of the gap there. That'll help. And then do the light filler, like I said I was going to do. Sand that all down, and then the next time we work on this, we will be putting the monocoat on. So I'd like to thank everyone for, I'll just kind of give you an idea there of what it's gonna do there. Again, I'll go up inside here and epoxy all this, and epoxy all in here once I get the nuts and everything drilled, because I'm gonna epoxy the nuts in even. Because I don't want to be trying to attach the cowl and have them plop out one day. But that is that. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.